Strap in and get ready. You're about to experience Talking NASCAR with Brandon and Clint.
Hey everyone, my name's Brandon. This is my good buddy Clint. And in this new podcast, we're going to be talking all things NASCAR. And Clint and I both grew up in Southwest Florida and grew up really big NASCAR fans. And it's really nice to just be able to connect and share some memories about NASCAR and also some of the craziness that is currently going on with NASCAR. The sport has changed a lot, and there's going to be a lot of different topics that we get into for this podcast. But the way this is going to work is each episode will be one of us will ask the other one a question that the other person doesn't know about, and then we'll just engage in a discussion about that question. So a little bit about my story. I grew up a big Dale Sr. fan, big Earnhardt fan, and then a big Dale Jr. fan after he passed away. Clint, why don't you tell us a little bit about your...
Yeah, so Brandon's actually the one that got me into NASCAR. We've been friends since, first grade?
Yep.
And I think the first time I ever watched a race was at your house. And I do remember your entire family rooting for Dale Sr., and I don't know why I picked Rusty Wallace. I don't know if it was the one number better. I don't know if it was the black and gold. I don't know my reasoning behind it. But I remember I was the Rusty fan, and you were the Dale Senior fan, and then Dale Senior tragically passed, and then Rusty retired, and I became a Tony Stewart fan at that point, up until he retired, and now I'm just in limbo.
Yeah, the other day, I was talking to my parents, and they asked, well, who is Clint's favorite driver now? Because I told them we were going to do this podcast, and I said, I don't think he has one. And I said, I don't really have one either. I think those
do they?
That's a good question, too. I guess my dad, if you asked him, I guess he would say maybe Chase Elliott. Maybe.
Okay. I'm sure he's a super nice guy.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I don't think he's a jerk. I don't think he's, he doesn't seem like he's, just spitting on fans or anything, being a jerk.
He's not flipping him off like, what's his face? Austin Hill.
Nice guy, that Austin Hill. Real nice guy.
Yeah, real nice guy.
I guess it would be Chase Elliott. Maybe. Yeah. I know that they really just don't like Denny Hamlin. I think the sport for them now is driven more by hate. And maybe for me too. Even for me, I think it's driven more.
I care more about the people I don't like than the ones I do.
I don't know what that says about me as a person, but the animosity towards some drivers, it inspires me.
I think that's more to do with the world at this point, more than just NASCAR, probably. But
that's fair.
I think if you had to pin me to somebody, probably Chastain, just because of him growing up near where we lived.
Sure.
But I don't have a lot of passion for that favoritism, I guess.
Sure.
Let's say that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Ross Chastain is from Alva, Florida, which is my hometown, and Clint is from a town very near there as well. So our neck of the woods, amazing to see someone from a small town in our area.
And my dad knows his parents or his dad.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. My mom knows his mom. Yeah.
Right. So
there was one point where he came to the elementary school because he went to the school where we went to school. Yeah. And he brought, I guess, his truck from the Craftsman Truck Series or something. Yeah.
Huh.
Something like that happened. It's been a while, but it's that part is neat to see. You made a good point there. Maybe Ross is my favorite, as much as I like rooting against other people.
Right. I think what I aim for when I watch a race is a good race.
Sure.
Which is interesting because I'm sure for you too is that you spent so much of your time rooting for one guy that if halfway through the race that guy crashed, you're like, well, this race is over.
Yeah.
Right, I'm done watching. What's the point? Yeah. Whereas now you can kind of enjoy the race and the competition of it, regardless.
Yes. Yeah. It's a little bit less like riding on it emotionally. In the past, it would be I remember one race in 2000 before Dale Sr. passed, he was at Watkins Glen, which he just stinks. He just stunk at Watkins. I mean, he did win the pole with what do you have, a broken clavicle? He had something wrong, and he won the pole there. So you can't dismiss, the fact that he was such a badass. But on lap 2, he wrecked and hit just spun himself out and wrecked. And I was like, this is the most disappointing. I'm not going to be happy at school tomorrow.
Right.
Like,
well, can you imagine having bought tickets and gone to that race and that happens?
Well, and I see people and they stay I don't blame them for staying at the race.
No, you spend good money.
But they always show Ryan Blaney just blew up. Here's a couple with Ryan Blaney gear on, and they're still.
And you're just like,
there were a few. We shelled out money to go to the 2003 Daytona 500.
Yeah.
And in addition to it raining out at halfway, which was great. That's great when that happens. I love that NASCAR starts a race knowing it's going to flood. I think that's a really good strategy. But if we get sued by NASCAR, so be it. You're getting Brandon and Clint unplugged here.
Yeah.
But Dale Jr. was leading with about maybe 10 laps to go, and then he had an ignition box issue and finished 36th or 37th.
Yeah.
And Michael Waltrip won. That was his second Daytona 500.
I say in 03, that time frame, like DEI was like you weren't going to beat them at these races unless you wrecked them.
Absolutely. So. Yes. Yeah. And there was that one race, I forget the year, where Dale wrecked Michael and they were in first and second at Daytona. That was or was that it might have been Charlotte.
Something in Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah. But the question that I wanted to pose to you for this first episode is, what is your greatest memory in NASCAR?
Okay. So I've been to two races.
Okay.
I think 2.
Mm-hmm.
One with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the Pepsi 400, and I went the first time with my dad. And I think being there with my dad, even though we had properly bad seats, I think because it's not something, my dad wasn't a NASCAR fan or anything like that. I think Greg Biffle won. And I think the time I went with you, Tony Stewart was my driver at that point. And he was like, had a flu and he was out like 20 laps in. He gave the race over to, I think JJ Yaley at the time. And I remember that being pretty devastating.
Sure.
But and it was hot as balls in July. So
sure. One of the other many joys of the Daytona summer race.
Other than actually going to that race with my dad, definitely 2011. We're watching on YouTube there. 2011 Homestead, for sure. That, like, I don't remember what year they went to, because they were still in the 10 race chase at that point, right? And that race to come down to tying in points and winning on wins, you could not have scripted a better championship in my eyes.
Sure.
Now, that's not to say that's the case every time, obviously. But I remember, because, like, I have this hat. I have another 2011 hat back there. Right. Sorry, if you see right. I can't move my hand. I don't know where I'm at. Over there. And I have the shirt. Right. I was so proud. And I lived with my parents at the time. And they were sleeping. And I woke them up screaming when he won. And there was so much adversity in that race too. Like, he had something go through his grill, and had to go to the back and come back up to the front, and just like that was peak Tony Stewart to me. Like that year, like I remember I remember his restarts. He could pass like 5 cars on a restart, and nobody knew how he was doing it until they like watched his footage, or not his footage, but like the telemetry that what he was doing was something he learned from dirt racing. I remember that. But that race and going to the race with my dad, just because it's anytime you get to spend with your dad is a good time. And so, those 2 things, probably my 2 favorite memories. What about you?
Well, my favorite would have to be, and I didn't get to watch this in real time, but it has to be when Dale Sr. won the Daytona 500. It was the first memory that I thought of. And I was actually on the don't judge listening audience, but I was on the clogging team. In
Hey,
when
you know what though? In our school, that was
yeah,
like that was where the cool kids went though.
yeah, I was.
No, but I'm serious though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I wanted to be on it. My parents wouldn't shell out the money for the clogging shoes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you wanted to be. That's funny. But yeah, so I was on the clogging team when we were doing I think it was the Edison Festival of Light Parade, and
Yeah.
it was during the Daytona 500
Poor
on
time.
horrible timing. And so my dad and I, before the parade started, I'm sitting there waiting to get on the float, and we're listening to the race. And I said, if he wins, just, I know where you're going to be in the parade route. Just put your thumbs up in the air and let me know that he's won. And so, I'm clogging. I'm just waiting. When am I going to get to see my dad? When am I going to get to see my dad? My dad went into a camper of a coworker of my mom's and watched part of it. And just because he couldn't miss it.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I come around a corner and there's my dad, just thumbs up in the air. And I stopped for a minute clogging, and I was like, oh, and then I had to get back into my little pseudo.
Cotton Eye Joe.
We did Cotton Eye Joe. We did Old Time Rock and Roll. I forget all the songs.
Cotton Eye Joe, such an inappropriate song to be clogging to as an elementary school.
It's completely ridiculous. Yeah, no. Yeah, Old Time Rock and Roll. Okay, that's fair, but I don't even remember some of the other. Oh, we did Achy Breaky Heart by Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forget what song we were on, but my dad, he had the biggest smile on his face, and that's during Dale's lifetime. That's my favorite. Yeah. And then after he passed, that was very, very hard on my family. In fact, I remember I didn't go to school the next day. It was, he passed away on a Sunday, and I went back on Tuesday, and you guys thought I had gone to North Carolina to like pay homage to him. Which in hindsight, that would have been cool if we had done that. But I know, we both come from working class families, and that just wasn't in the cards, But in 2001, after that, the first race at Daytona, the Pepsi 400, my dad and I went. My parents had tickets every year to the Pepsi 400 for many, many years. And that year I went with my dad and saw Dale Jr. win the race. And he came, similar to his dad, he was in, 5th, 6th place with a few laps to go, and he came through the field and won the race, and
again, very dominant DEI time too. Right?
Yes, such
and
a
you
dominant.
Could do that. You can't do that now. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to say that new racing sucks compared to old racing, but you can't do that at Daytona.
Yes, no, I agree. Now it's more random than ever before. Then I think there were many times in that era when the best driver still won the race.
Yeah, I agree.
Daytona and at Talladega.
It wasn't a crapshoot.
Yes, now it is literally, they should honestly, sometimes I'm like, just have a 5-lap race. You're not going to get the TV time. You're not going to get the advertising, but you know what? That's the whole point anyway. So just have a 5-lap shootout of just bumper cars,
Yeah, and no offense to Harrison Burton, who's probably a better driver than me, but I mean, the dude was, struggling to stay in the top 30 in points in one Daytona. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's it's one of those things where he just and the great thing about that Dale Jr. time when he won that was that he could do it by himself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can't make a move by yourself anymore. You have to have somebody. You have to have sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5 people go with you.
Yes.
Kind of looking back at this last Talladega race with Kyle Busch, where he tried to make a middle lane or third lane work, whatever it was, and he just didn't get enough people with him, and it just stalled out. You can't just run up on a guy, pass him, get back in line, or it just doesn't really work that way.
Well, yeah, and now I do think the way that they draft is different as well. I think it's I think they're afraid to be as aggressive now as they used to be. And maybe that's the way the car is designed. I'm not sure necessarily if it's just a difference in driving style. I know the drivers more generally now are so much more politically correct.
Yeah.
And, with a few exceptions, there's a few that
definitely to the media. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tony Stewarts and all them of the world are gone.
Oh, well, watching Tony Stewart in a press conference. What a master class in
I
how to
was
be
can,
just a smart ass.
can I add? I'm going to add a favorite moment. This is everybody can see this on YouTube. When Tony Stewart did an interview and Dale Jr. was next to him.
Yeah,
And Dale Jr. was covering his face, trying to keep from showing that how much he was laughing as Tony Stewart just roasted this the media person was hilarious. And that every interview he did was like that, right? Like I would love to do an episode just on funny Tony Stewart interviews. Like that would be awesome.
I was literally going to say that. What's your favorite Tony Stewart post-race interview? That would be a great conversation. Yeah. Those days are long gone with NASCAR now. But
that's what I was trying to think. If there's a guy now you would say is similar to that, that when you see their interview, you know it's going to be at least entertaining.
Yeah,
but I can't think of anybody.
Yeah, they're all, and they're passive aggressive rather than being, like Tony Stewart. At the end of he got wrecked by somebody who said he wants to complain, bitch about everybody else. I'm going to bust his ass. That was on live TV.
That was Joey Logano. He was
Joe Logano. Yeah.
He's California.
Yeah. That's right. It was. There we go. Yeah, man. It does. Seeing some of the declining attendance at some of these races, it is tough to see. Because when you and I used to go, like the races at Daytona, you had to fight for a seat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You remember Bristol was.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I guess more races lately have been selling out, but they also removed a bunch of seats at a lot of these places. So, yes, it's great that they sold out, but like, it's not selling out the way that it used to.
Sure.
And I'm sure do an episode on the good old days, as I guess, and and kind of what that meant. But I think I still love the sport. I still love racing. I'm just one of those rare people that doesn't care how many passes there are.
Sure.
I don't care if one guy gets out to, like Shane Van Gisbergen, gets out to a 15-second lead. Good for him, man. You're the fastest.
Yeah.
I don't care. The other guys got to catch you. They got to figure it out. And the thing, especially now, is they all have. You can see everybody's telemetry now.
Sure.
Which I don't know if that's good or bad, but you can see everybody's telemetry. You can see what he's doing with his feet. You know what I mean? Like, and that's everybody's saying is the reason he's so good is how he puts power down and conserve tires and still be fast.
Sure.
You could see that. Just mimic it, or I don't know what to tell you. That or wreck him. That's the other option, I guess. But
yeah. But you have to catch him to wreck him too.
Yeah, you got to catch and wreck. You got to do it on a restart, I guess.
and if he can get ovals down the way that he has road courses down.
And I've noticed. I think we were talking about this the other day. Like his short track is definitely come a long way. And I was kind of thinking about that, and because obviously I don't race, but I've done iRacing, and it's very realistic as a sim, right? And the way you would drive a short track is not overly dissimilar to a road course, and how you how you're braking and stuff like that. So I think that's probably why he's catching up. Whereas because you do, and again, just as an amateur fan here, you do a lot more of your braking in a straight line and then kind of let it roll the corner. Whereas at 1.5 miles, you kind of drag the brake through the corner. So it's a different discipline that way. Drafting is obviously its own thing. And it's how much help you have and all that stuff. So
sure. So the 1.5 miles seems to be a bit more of a challenge for him.
Yeah, it's a totally different feel at that point. And it's totally different braking and everything as to how you do it. So
okay.
That's kind of my understanding. Again, that's just from having raced that stuff and kind of how you race a road course versus how you race, other stuff. There's more similarity, I think, between a road course and a short track than 1.5 miles.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, no, I think he definitely has a bright future, even if we'll see what they do with this playoff format, because if they take away, if they take away this win and you're in, which I don't, how do you feel about the win and you're in?
For the most part, I'm okay with it. I think winning should be important. Consistency has to be important too. And I would love to do an episode on what we think the perfect point system would be.
Sure.
It's that, and again, I'm not hating on Harrison Burton here, but the instances like that where
Mhm.
you took away a spot from a guy who deserved it, who ran competitively all year,
Sure.
because you won one race by luck of the draw. And I don't think you can sit there and cherry pick races out. You can't say, well, Daytona and Talladega don't count, and Atlanta doesn't count.
Mhm.
There has to be skill tracks, and because I don't think that's fair. I think there's a level of skill. There's just you get not wreck is a skill.
Sure.
What do you think?
Um, I go back and forth. Part of me misses the old days. I think that they've tried to make it. It's too much. They've tried to make it too much, kind of like baseball or some of these other sports that actually
Yeah.
have a playoff. Where
Yeah,
the elimination format kind of bothers me. I
yeah,
think if you're going to have a playoff, okay, it may be what they did in 2004 initially, where you have the top 10 and then you just have a 10 race chase without these. Get rid of the stage racing and get rid of this elimination crap. Just let the math eliminate drivers rather than forcing the elimination. That's just but then
yeah.
there's times I go back and forth because it is exciting to watch still with this format.
I don't like the playoffs. I don't like the elimination part. I agree. I would go back to the top 10 or 12
Mm-hmm.
and do a 10 race. I think was probably my favorite format.
Mm-hmm.
Besides just having the 36 races straight through.
Yeah.
And again, I get this, oh, so-and-so won with 2 races to go. I don't care. I'm still going to watch the next 2 races. But that's the difference between, what kind of different fans are there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's, I don't tune in to see who's going to win the championship, because otherwise, why would you watch the first 30 races?
Mm-hmm.
You just tune in at the chase. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So it would be very similar to only watching the Super Bowl, right? It's not the fan you're catering to.
Sure.
I'm a Bears fan,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have, I stream everything and I can't stream the Bears, so I don't watch the Bears. But I follow them on my phone. Would I be more excited if they're in the Super Bowl? Sure, but it doesn't keep me from watching the Super Bowl. I don't.
Sure.
It's just an event to watch.
Sure, certainly. Yeah, no, and I think that if I met Eli Gold at a sports card show a few months ago, and I asked him, "What do you make of NASCAR now?" And he's like, "Oh, this is a bunch of crap." He's like, "The stage racing is a bunch of crap." He goes, "You know what happened? NASCAR freaked out because Matt Kenseth in 2003 clinched at Rockingham, and they just freaked out." And they started this playoff crap, and he just went on this tirade of I was like the angry old man yelling at Cloud and Simpson's kind of. But he felt very strongly that the sport has lost its way, and that moment kind of got me thinking a little bit about not questioning, because obviously we have no power over what NASCAR does,
right.
but even
Not
then,
yet.
not yet. Yeah, once
we'll
there's
be on the council eventually, but it's okay. We'll get there.
Your podcast has become renowned in the NASCAR world. Yes, all 8 family members that watch this love what we have to say.
Yeah, right.
No, just kidding. Yeah, I go back and forth, but the races are still exciting without a favorite driver. With the elimination, it is a different time, but it is still a great sport, and it is a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely, I agree.
But I think, well, that's a nice way to end this first episode. Thanks as always for talking NASCAR with me, and I'm glad that we're finally doing this podcast. We've been yelling over text message for the past several months about various aspects of NASCAR, so I'm happy to see us do something constructive with our feelings about the sport. Until next time, everybody, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Clint.
Take care.
Thanks.